Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, we're talking last night's Monday Night Raw on the road to Payback. We've got a new number one contender, new challenger, rather, for Seth Rollins' World Heavyweight Championship. We've got more drama within the bloodline. But first,
bloodline.
What did I say? Bloodline. Oh, Judgment Day. Sorry. Judgment Day is what I meant. Look, man, my head is so wrapped up in this CM Punk drama, and we've got some more of that. Starts off with what is it? A mea culpa? Isn't that an apology? Is it a mea culpa? An apology from CM Punk to one Hangman Adam Page, but it doesn't stop there. Oh, man. Larson, where do you want to begin with this stuff?
Of course, yesterday we talked about CM Punk's post-collision promo where he tried to crack a joke about Hangman Page, and it fell flat. And then how, as reported by House of Wrestling, Punk felt the promo didn't come across as intended, and that he felt bad about it afterwards. Today,
a rare moment of contrition.
Seemingly self-reflection and contrition from Phil Brooks. I know. Today, House of Wrestling reported that Punk sent, quote, Page a text message apologizing for his comments after AW Collision. Dave Meltzer corroborated House of Wrestling's report, getting confirmation from both sides, from Punk's camp, from Hangman's camp, that apology text was indeed sent.
Okay, all right. So there's also, there's
so at least Punk. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I'll stop talking over you.
There seems to be some amount of, apparently Punk, it's been reported, didn't actually, according to him, he's playing ignorant on the whole. I didn't send Hangman away from the arena. I didn't do that. Nobody knows who did that.
So apparently he did with Ryan Nemeth and Christopher Daniels.
He did that.
But not any other time. Right,
exactly. Yeah.
Although it seems like apparently the vibe in the locker room is he probably did them all to a certain portion of the locker room.
I mean, that seems to be between, what's coming out on like Wrestling Observer, there seems to be a lot like people in the locker room are like, oh, I probably did that. Maybe he didn't. Probably, maybe did, maybe didn't. So there's a lot of sort of he said, she said kind of stuff in there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Before I started talking, you were going to say one last bit about Punk, huh?
Yeah, I was going to mention, and someone here in chat mentioned this earlier about the apology being loud in his public is disrespect.
Well, that's the House of Wrestling podcast. I mean, it was on.
I know that's not the same with a mic in hand in front of a crowd, though. Put that out there.
Fair enough.
Anyways, it just seems there's more. Fightful has had a thing about the incident and altercation, not an altercation, maybe an argument, a disagreement between CM Punk and Jack Perry. I don't know if we really want to get into it.
So, okay, here's the thing. I'm
kind of exhausted of all this stuff. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Fightful just released a report, like literally as we were about to go live, that has to do with an altercation between, or some words between CM Punk and Jack Perry backstage. We like to give those Fightful reports because they are paywalled and they do, a lot of good work over there. We're not going to dive too deep into it, but needless to say, it seems, dude, I think you and we had done like an overrun or something at some point when this whole situation was going to go into effect. The collision was going to start. Punk was going to return. And the idea that they're separating these brands and these rosters based off of personality and conflicts between these personalities.
Yes.
And and at first, like for the first month or so, month and a half, it seemed like, okay, maybe this can work. But it's funny that it took like a joke that went bad from CM Punk to kind of open the floodgates to the other stuff going on, because maybe if it wasn't for that promo, I don't know. And if it wasn't for Hangman having to like go somewhere else to do his promo, I don't know if it like would have come out about the Daniels thing and the Nemeth thing, although maybe Nemeth would have put it out there. I don't know. But this all seems to be happening at the same time.
Yeah, it seems to be Punk's promo after Collision was a catalyst for all of this, and it's somewhat ironic considering that when Punk seemingly confronted Ryan Nemeth backstage about, hey, everything's kind of quieted down, we're not trying to stir the pot and raise tensions. how many times have things kind of quieted down only for some bit of news to come out maybe, and Punk just has to comment on it and put a larger spotlight on it.
Yeah.
And then here's an incident at Collision where he just decides, hey, I'm gonna try to crack wise about Hangman because I see a sign about him.
Yeah.
And the snowball effect is all this stuff is coming out now.
You know, it's funny because like we had sort of seen this. Like this had a ceiling. This had a short lifespan.
A short lifespan. Because if you don't get everybody in a room and try to work things out, it's inevitable. These same problems are going to arise again. You could try to make the entire Collision roster as Punk loyal as you can. So there's no arguments or beef there, seemingly. But at a certain point, for example, I think Hangman lives in North Carolina. It's probably just convenient for him to drive over to the Coliseum, shoot a thing real quick. So it's in the can, and it saves him a trip to Dynamite if he's not scheduled to actually be on the show.
Yeah.
And to think that you can't do that because of this beef is frankly pretty damn ridiculous.
It's like even trying to, which I was doing yesterday, trying to play, devil's advocate or trying to see it from the other side.
Yeah.
When one dude's name keeps on coming up over and over and over again, how is it that your ego won't allow you to look at a sign that says Hangman Country and say nothing? Or something like, hey, we all have our favorites here, and I appreciate that. And even the guys that are booing me do the Cena thing. Even the guys that are booing me, you feel free to boo me.
I appreciate the passion you have for AEW.
He looked, dude, I know. I don't know if you actually watched the video of the promo, but like I think it was like right after he did the Hangman bit and he handed the microphone back over, there was a particularly noisy fan in the crowd, and Punk looked at him and said, why are you mad? Why are you so mad, sir? And it was the most like, let me talk to your manager vibe. And the guy was just there having a good time razzing Punk because he's razzing Hangman.
Yeah.
And it's like, he honestly does come off as pretty thin-skinned, and I don't know the guy, but, and I know I'm not saying anything new, but again, trying to understand that without being there and understanding the dynamics. But when one guy's name keeps on coming up, and this guy has a lot of power in the company, they're trying to please him. It's just, this is only going to get worse. Like this, it doesn't take a genius to understand this ain't going to get resolved in a way that is going to, it's not going to resolve itself. Yeah. It's just going to get worse.
It is. Cause again, we won't get too much into the Jack Perry bit, but if it's a situation where they book someone on Collision that may not necessarily be a fan of CM Punk, and if Collision is CM Punk's show, that seems to be pretty evident at this point.
Yeah, sure.
Seemingly in the Jungle Boy example, there's a disagreement about how to approach something from a production standpoint, and they had CM Punk talk to him about it. Well, if Jungle Boy, is not a fan of CM Punk, guess how that's going to go? Guess how that conversation is going to go? Probably not well.
And the thing is, like, you can have, like Chase here in our YouTube chat says Hobbs, Starks, Jade, etc. have spoken great about Punk. Yeah, so is Brody, House of Black, Danhausen. And that's fine. Like, FTR obviously loves CM Punk. Yeah. Like Dax, it's like champ kind, It's like, and so, like, I get it. That's fine. He appeals to certain wrestlers. And, dude, we talked about this yesterday. If the good that he might be doing on Collision by featuring certain wrestlers that we love to see more of, by maybe giving the women more of an opportunity to shine on Collision, that's all stuff that I love. I keep doing that.
Absolutely.
But here's the problem with that. In order for that to persist and consistently be a thing so that a year from now we still have that side of Punk, the other side of that needs to be resolved. Otherwise, it's not going to work, and we're not going to get that anymore.
Nope.
So whatever these personalities are, these conflicts, that it needs to be handled like, I don't know, like soon.
It does. And you also run the risk of, I mean, for example, 12 days out from AEW's largest show ever, in front of 80,000 fans.
Yeah, right.
People aren't talking about All In. They're talking about this backstage stuff.
Yeah.
So you run the risk of collision if it's consistently booked like a really solid show and giving attention to every division as AEW should, but it has a history of not doing. You run the risk of this backstage drama overshadowing the product time and time again.
Yeah, right.
So it's there, unless they could find a way to sit everybody down and try to work things out, this kind of stuff is going to continually happen until there's a major blow up.
Because eventually, exactly, and the more the more I sit here and think about it, it's like, at some point it's going to be, well, Punk was sent home because that happens, and then what are we stuck with? We're stuck with Tony Khan booking Collision like it's Dynamite, because that's just his inclination, and then we get less Hobbs, then we get less Starks, then we get less Acclaimed. And then we're just stuck with, with watered down Dynamite. And I don't want to see that, because I like the wrestlers that are featured on Collision.
Same. I do too.
So yeah, I don't know. I feel like this shit needs to be, something's got to happen here.
Yeah, you think so. So. Anyways, let's talk about Raw. There was a Raw last night. CM Punk news almost overshadowing WWE's product as well.
Oh my goodness.
Almost. So, couple highlights here. 3 I have written down.
Oh yeah.
First, so following the attack last week, Nakamura says why he attacked Seth. He wants a title shot. And Seth comes out and says, well, I used to respect you, Nakamura. All you had to do was ask. But to get what I want as Seth Rollins, which is revenge for the attack, I have to give you what you want, world title shot. So they didn't set a date for that. I would imagine it's probably Payback.
You would think so, yeah.
But that seems to be Seth's next feud. Meanwhile, seemingly Finn Balor and Judgment Day have moved on. I wouldn't be surprised if Cody is going to feud with Finn Balor, come up here at Payback and maybe into Fastlane in October. And it seems like Judgment Day working out their issues, which by the end of Raw, they seemingly for the moment had, is Damian Priest's priority at the moment, not so much cashing in Money in the Bank, even though, again, at the finish of Finn and Cody's match, Finn looking like a bit of a fool.
Dude.
With that briefcase coming betwing him and Damian Priest.
Yeah, he looked like a fool there. He looked like a fool at the end of the Sami Zayn, JD McDon't Google My Name match as well.
Yeah.
Like Sami Zayn was able to easily dispatch of him.
Yeah.
Look, Nakamura Rollins, I mean, that could be, especially like if they're really trying to reestablish Nakamura, which there was a great Twitter video that had Nakamura's like the English subtitles for his promo in the ring. And it's very simple stuff. He's trying to, like, as creative as a character, he is trying to reestablish himself as a top guy. And he wants to win that World Heavyweight Championship. There was no big revelations in that. What we don't know is what he whispered into Seth Rollins' ear.
Yeah.
I don't think, anyways. Anybody do any lip reading that you saw on Twitter?
It was enough to distract Seth long enough so he could hit him with a Kinshasa.
Oh, man, he was shook by whatever he said. Do you have any speculation? What would you say to me that could shake me to my core?
I'd say something like, I didn't come alone. Like, I got backup. I mean, for example, if we're like,
boy, that's kind of dirty.
Well,
I didn't come alone.
Depends on like, interpretation.
Really? Oh, nice.
For example, if we're out there about to play basketball, and I bring you in a whispered ear, and I'm like, I did a shooting lesson with Steph Curry.
Oh wow. I would just be sort of confused. Yeah. I'd be like, really? And then when you start bricking them, I'll be like,
start bricking
you need to go back to Steph Curry.
Yeah, no, that led to nothing.
Yeah. So, Patrick Cheeseman says, we've been trying to reach you about your car's warranty. So, I don't know what was said. I like that it shook Seth, and the did not see a Kinshasa coming. Look, I don't expect Nakamura to win this title, but I think the matches will be really, really good. And hopefully they tell a story that's more than just, a couple promos every week, we maybe get a little bit more involved. I was always disappointed by the Nakamura AJ Styles feud that they had back in the day. Yeah. So maybe they'll step up a little bit. Just give us a vicious Nakamura who can really take it to Seth, and the matches I expect to be really, really good there.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about Judgment Day. There was obvious beef to kick off Raw. Damian Priest pretty much says, "Hey, Finn, you're being a problem right now. You're not even here to open the show with us. Where are you?" We got JD McDonough kind of stirring the pot a bit, maybe at Finn's behest. And then by the end of the show, even though Finn lost the match and he looked like a damn fool, Judgment Day stood tall. They all raised hands together, save for JD. He was watching from the floor. So I don't know if it's a situation where Finn is trying to, obviously, at least in kayfabe, Finn and JD are close. And if Finn wants to kind of tilt the balance of power within Judgment Day more towards him, you would see how it would benefit him to bring JD in, to have JD garner the trust of the rest of the members, and provide Finn with a bit more sway.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's no, at different points, different people come up, except for Dom, come off as leaders of Judgment Day. Yeah. And this would benefit Finn because as Rhea pointed out last night, she's like, we've got the Women's World Championship. We've got Mr. Money in the Bank. We've got the NXT North American Championship, which I just found out includes Canada as well. And that was a great line from Dom, by the way. That was such a throwaway line. I just found out Canada is part of North America, so
which you could barely hear because the crowd's booing.
I know. So it was so good though. And Finn once again is just sort of left with nothing. So if he's got his pal with him, maybe that'll help his cause there. I don't know exactly where this is headed. I mean, we do have, what is it, August, September, October, November. Yeah, we got 2 more pay-per-views between now and Survivor Series, but you got to think that maybe this is going towards some sort of Judgment Day versus this Cody, Sammy, maybe a Seth, Kevin Owens alliance.
Yeah, maybe
that's a possibility, but that's a little far down the line here.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, they've been taking their time telling a lot of stories. This Judgment Day thing, it seemed like they might have been headed to some sort of split in the near future, but now it seems like there's a Band-Aid put on the situation, especially now that Finn is not in the title picture anymore.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, that helps. Yeah,
that does help. So, but you got to imagine if these issues aren't dealt with, much like CM Punk and the Elite within Judgment Day, they're going to fester and become a thing again.
Well, okay, let's talk about that then, because that prize isn't the thing anymore. What's going to be the goal? What's going to be their objective that they will? This is why we really needed to get that World Heavyweight Championship on Finn Balor. You know what I mean? Because then the objective is clear. He wants to keep it, but Damian kind of wants it. But we don't have that. Instead, they're feuding against Cody, I guess, maybe is going to be the thing. But, like, Cody doesn't have anything that Finn wants except for, I guess, like, a win. But if there's no thing that will sort of be the catalyst for the conflict within the group, where do you see that coming from?
I guess the catalyst for conflict now is you have the pre-existing issues plus Finn trying to get JD in. Right now he's being kind of sly about it in that he's not like, hey guys, let's have JD join the group.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He's just there. He'll provide his 2 cents, and then he'll, like, at the end of the show, he blasted Sami Zayn from behind. Was like, do what you want with this.
Here to help. I'm here to
help, but I'm not going to get super involved.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know you guys don't like me in general.
If the idea is Finn will tell, obviously behind the scenes, in the WWE kayfabe universe, do things to earn their trust.
Yeah, right.
But don't go overboard with it.
Yeah.
And then once you've earned their trust, then we can start the process of trying to get you in as a full-time member. And then from Finn's perspective, it's like, I got a guy who's loyal to me.
Yeah, right.
Above all else.
Yeah.
That's going to help me.
Yeah. And then I guess we'll just see like what they're going to have to go after in order for that to, matter.
Maybe the idea is in Finn's mind is like, all right, once JD's in, I have a guy who's loyal to Finn. Then I look at Seth again. And knowing here's a guy I could trust who will help me, and I don't have to worry about him with a briefcase, hemming and hawing about helping me or cashing in or any of that.
Was Priest throwing the briefcase in way too far? was that intentional?
It wasn't way too far. It was just like Finn just misread it and put his hands up too early, so it went between his legs.
So cartoonish.
It was. Again, just making Finn look like an absolute fool.
Hey, I love that Cody used that shit, though. I love that. I love when baby faces will have no problem. There is no hemming and hawing. He was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to do this right now.
Blast this asshole with this thing.
Before we talk about Becky and Trish heading towards a steel cage, Larson, you want to pay some bills?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's take a quick break here, friendos. This episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by BetterHelp. You know, Steve, for many of us, there are times in our lives where we may feel like we're at a crossroads, uncertain about where we're going in life. For me, that happened in my mid-20s when I started feeling really overwhelmed by life and developed severe anxiety. And it got to the point where I made the realization that I had to go to therapy to find a path forward. Therapy helped me learn the tools I needed to better cope with my anxiety and set me on the path to hopefully becoming a better Larson.
And if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. BetterHelp is entirely online and is designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited for your schedule. And all you got to do to get started is fill out a brief online questionnaire. Plus, you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. So let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/raw today to get 10% off your first month.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
Before we continue on, Hogan Ice here gifted a membership to the community. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. And then Cameron Shank also became a channel member. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And if you become a channel member by clicking join on YouTube or going to the Patreon at patreon.com/Steven Larson, you can get access to our bonus episodes, to the huge predictions challenges. We've got the Week of Champions coming up here towards the end of August, the beginning of September. So you should be sure to join in for that. And then you also get access to all the question threads that we have. Tomorrow, of course, is our Ask Steven Larson episode where it's just your guys' questions answered. And the thread on the channel memberships for that is up right now. For Patreon, it's been up since yesterday. I meant to do it earlier for the channel memberships, but it just didn't happen. So be sure to check that out as well. It's a great way to help support Going in Raw. Also, we've got merch at friendoshop.com. And right now, you can still use code PURPLE to get your purple merch from. You can use it for any of the merch there. We got a bunch of merch over there.
All of merch, not just
we even got some Wrestle Juice merch. Look, I got a Wrestle Juice hat right here.
That's a good looking hat. I like the texture.
I know, me too. I'm gonna make some new hats as well coming up for Week of Champions.
Week of Champions
towards the end of the month. So we'll have some new merch up there as well.
I like it. I like it. All right, you want to dive? Oh, here. Well, we're taking a quick break from recapping. If you're watching this on the YouTube right now, whether live, VOD, if you could hit that like button. This one, that's the thumbs up. It's supposed to be good for the video channel like here, and also
it's the opposable thumb there. This one and this one. So whatever looks like this, do this.
Yeah, do that.
That's what allows us to do cool things, you know.
It does.
If we're just sitting here like this.
I know, we can grab things.
Exactly. Look at this.
Like I couldn't palm a basketball if I didn't have a thumb.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Wouldn't happen. Also, subscribe, notify. I know, I'm trying to shoot a jumper with no thumb.
Oh my gosh, it'd be horrible.
It'd be tough.
Yeah.
That'd be tough. Anyways, Raw kicked off. Judgment Day. Well, Rhea, Dom, Damian Priest come to the ring.
If you believe yours is the only way, then you're a fool who lives to die. So they come out. Rhea says, welcome to Monday Night Raw. By the way, let's for a moment here. We got to talk about that awesome TikTok going around of Rhea and Dom doing some silly little trick with their hands. And then Rhea grabs his hand and like thrusts him passionately against the wall.
Yeah.
But with a big cheeky smile on her face. And she took him completely off guard.
I know.
They are going to go down as one of the all-time couples in pro wrestling.
Absolutely.
In kayfabe, I still have no idea what their relationship is. But it is clear in real life, they absolutely adore each other. Mm-hmm. And they both have significant others. And to watch the people clown the shit out of Buddy is really kind of sad and funny at the same time, because because what's his face? Dom was so taken aback and tickled by Rhea doing this.
Yeah.
It's like the sweetest relationship. I don't know, obviously they're very close in real life as well. I mean, how could you not? They probably travel together and all that kind of stuff.
I would imagine, yeah.
Their chemistry is so off the charts great.
Yep.
But I don't know. It's just it's so hilarious, man.
It really is. Hilarious. It really is. They've referred on TV to Rhea as Dom's girlfriend.
Yeah. No, so I know.
They refer to a romantic relationship between them, but
I know. But it's so
we never really see that play out on air, though.
I still really like the idea that she is simply. That it's a different relationship than that. I know they've said that, but that's such an easy description for something that really actually doesn't seem like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I love that their relationship is so different that they're not just playing it like it is a romantic relationship.
Yeah, especially like a traditional wrestling romantic relationship.
Right, exactly. But they are going to go down as an all-time pairing, for whatever they are. It's really, really good stuff. And to see them interact in real life and to see people go crazy over it is really something. It's so unique. It's so different.
It really is. They've been doing great work. Rhea welcomes us to Raw. Priest says at SummerSlam, Finn should have won the World Heavyweight Championship, and last week we should have won our match. Communication seems to be an issue, but as long as I'm Senior Money in the Bank, we dictate what happens here. Tonight, Finn is going to take care of Cody, as he should, seeing as he's one of the most dominant of all time. He should be here telling you himself, but he isn't here. Don't get it twisted. Judgment Day isn't breaking up, but he should be here. And Rhea's like, not the time or place right now. And Priest says, it's not like people don't know what's going on. There's something wrong with Judgment Day, and it's Finn Balor. And he's like, I need to know where Finn's at. Instead, JD comes out. And Priest is like, yo. So you got a mic. I'd be careful what comes out of your mouth. And JD says, look, I didn't mean to interrupt. I certainly mean no disrespect. You are the most dominant faction in all of WWE. I came out here because I have a message from Finn. He says, don't worry about my friendship with him, but worry about Cody and Sammy. And he says, I took care of Sammy last week, and by some miracle, they've cleared him. That's what you need to worry about. And Rhea says, JD, we don't take orders from anyone, especially people that aren't part of Judgment Day. And Dom tries to talk, and of course, he gets just showered with booze. He says, we got this locked down. Mommy's the most dominant champ in WWE. Priest is the future world champion. I'm North American champ. I just found out Canada is part of North America, so I guess I'm champion of this dump too. Head to the back and let us handle our business. And JD's like, hey, no disrespect, just deliver the message. Yeah. Rhea says, good. We have a message for you to deliver to Finn. Tell him we need to talk. And so she's about to continue. Sammy's music hit. Rhea delivered a perfect, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So he runs down. He starts fighting with JD. We get a brawl that breaks out because, Judgment Day just standing and watching JD and Sammy brawl. Sammy gets on the apron and stares down at Judgment Day. He grabs JD, but then JD manages to slam his arm in the ring post a couple times. We go to commercial. We come back. We get JD versus Sami Zayn.
Yeah, and this is a good match. Say we will about Jordan Devlin. He is a really, really terrific wrestler.
He is.
He's got one of the biggest headbutts in the business. So Finn comes out for this. So JD picks Sammy up, gets him in the corner, lays some kicks to his injured arm. Sammy catches him and hits an exploder into the corner. He fires up, but Finn comes down. Balor sort of fakes out rushing the ring. That distracts Sammy, so JD goes for a roll-up. He gets only 2 with it. He kills Sammy with a headbutt, and then he goes up top, goes for a moonsault. Sammy gets the boots up in the face, and then Sammy takes out Finn as JD is still recovering in the corner, hits a haluva kick at him, so he's able to pretty easily dispatch of whatever distraction Finn's going at here.
Yep. After that, we're backstage with Adam Pearce and Chelsea Green. So Pearce is pretty much setting her up for like, hey, you gotta vacate the titles.
Yeah.
He says, please let me talk. As you know, your tag partner was injured last week, and she tore her ACL. She'd be out several months. So as much as it pains me, I have to tell you. And Chelsea's like, nope, don't say it. Don't you say it. You're so predictable. I work too hard to just throw these away. If I was a manager, I would do a much better job. I'm going to call my lawyer. No, wait, I'll call your manager. I'm going to call human resources. No manager should act how you're acting. And Pierce says, what do you expect me to do? You seem so full of ideas. I'm all ears. What are your ideas? And Chelsea says, actually, I would hold auditions. Chelsea's got talent. We could have people. And before she could finish that thought, there's a knock on the door. Pierce tells them come in. It's Caden Carter, Katana Chance. Katana says, we heard about Sonya's injury, but sent you here as soon as you find a new partner. Then all of a sudden, Piper Niven rushes in, lays him out, stares at Chelsea and goes, I'm your new partner. And Chelsea goes, oh, you could just give your name and number and maybe your Instagram handle. And Piper takes the belt and says, no, I said I'm your new partner. Chelsea just goes, okay. It was really good. Chelsea's so good at this.
She is really good. I wonder, you have to ask yourself, number one, she's in a spot where management easily, like in real life, could have just been like, okay, we're going to take these titles off you and, whatever. But Chelsea probably just on her own did the social media talent search thing. Management probably saw that and said, we need to roll with her because she makes something out of anything. Doesn't matter what you give her. She makes magic out of it. She is so flipping good.
She is.
And the fact that they put Piper with her in this odd couple type thing, they're going to be winning a lot now.
Yeah.
Because the comedy of that, where Piper's probably going to be the one who's getting the wins, and she'll maybe use Chelsea as a weapon at some point, throwing her into people. They're going to do that whole thing, and it's going to do wonders for both. This is going to be huge for Piper Niven.
Agreed.
Because Chelsea Green just makes everything better.
So
this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to this.
Same. I am too. After that, we're backstage. Byron's interviewing Cody. He asks Cody about Finn, and Cody says, you got to be a loose cannon in this game to a degree. I admire Finn. He's a leader in Ireland. He's a leader in Japan. And with Judgment Day, a group that's vying for supremacy in WWE, he's not the only leader, is he? He says, Priest is an alpha dog. Rhea's a bona fide superstar. Then there's Dirty Dom. He's submissive, but a champ nonetheless.
Submissive. That was great.
Says they already caused damage by taking out Kevin Owens and Liv Morgan. Tonight, I'll be ready for Finn. I wrestled in Winnipeg for so long. I'm not going to waste this opportunity. I will be ready for Finn no matter what.
Oh, absolutely. Bravo, Cody. Bravo. Another stellar promo there.
Did you give him a standing ovation from this short
Of course,
interview?
Absolutely. I was sitting here, burning some farts into my office chair, stood up. Anyways, after that.
Clapping in response to your own beef or to Cody's promo then?
Yes.
Both.
And then, of course, I kept on clapping because Gunther was next. We got a big old Gunther promo.
Yeah.
He's on the journey of building the legacy as the best intercontinental heavyweight champion of all time. The Ring NRL has arrived in Winnipeg. As a European, I always look forward to coming to Canada. But after walking around and seeing your face, I see why they call this the armpit of Canada. This dude was he was doing the like running down local.
I know. I'm surprised he didn't talk about how bad the Winnipeg Jets were or something.
I know, right? He says, however, I'm here to address the next contender for my Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, Chad Gable. He says, I have to admit, I was very impressed with his victory last week in general. This man has worked hard for years. He's an Olympic champion and possibly the best athlete in the entire company. But I've achieved more in a year than he has his entire career. All of you believe he's a threat to me. You believe he'll finally dethrone me. Ridiculous. At the end of the day, sheesh.
That was like the longest shoosh that Chad Gable did, too.
He gets a big old shoosh, yeah. And then, so Gable comes out. He says, Gunther, 2 weeks ago, you put time on the clock and said Chad Gable couldn't last 5 minutes, but I did, and I beat you at your own game. He says, it's funny, you're the one on the clock. You're just weeks away from setting the all-time record for the longest reigning champion, Intercontinental champion. He says, one thing standing in your way, that one thing is a guy who's been waiting for 10 years for a chance, working 10 years to get where he is today, a guy nipping at your buds. It's Chad Gable, and he's coming for your championship, buddy. Lucky for you, you get to hang on to it for at least 24 hours tonight. It's me and Giovanni. So, Gio, why not do Master Gable a favor and take that big, beautiful, bald head of yours in here and catch a few free lessons? Thank you. And then Ludwig says, 999. First of all, Giovanni Vinci belongs to the creme de la creme that WWE has to offer. Second of all, Chad Gable, he's going to prove it tonight when he embarrasses you. And then he starts hitting on Maxine. He calls her Madam Maxine. Says, you'll have to understand that you should surround yourself with some European elegance. He says, take a look at us. That's exactly what I like to call A+ aesthetics. He is a very handsome man, that Ludwig Kaiser.
He is.
His cheekbones especially stand out. He says, the Alpha Academy, Maxine, is a sinking ship. But don't worry, Madam Maxine, I am here reaching out my hand to you. You can either take it and let me save you, or you're going to let that 360-pound anchor drag you all the way down until you become what they already are, an absolute embarrassment. And then whoop-ah, Maxine slaps the living hell out of Kaiser.
Yep. And then we get our first match here of back-to-back Alpha Academy versus Imperium bouts. We get Chad Gable versus Giovanni Vinci. Once again, they job out Giovanni Vinci. No victory for Giovanni here.
Nope.
Fun match, even though it was a tad on the short side. Gable avoids powerbomb, hits Chaos Theory to get the win. And then afterwards, Gunther's like, no, this is not how it's going to end tonight. If this is the armpit of Canada, then you freak are the armpit of humanity, talking to Otis. You want to have fun? Fun to me is dragging your ugly mug all over that mat. I challenge you to a match right now. So Otis accepts.
Yeah, oh yeah. But man, Gunther hit a freaking powerbomb on Otis. That was impressive.
That was impressive.
And he gets the win with that. And then after the match, Gable gets in, dumps Gunther with a German suplex. Gunther rolls out, and Gable celebrates with Otis leaning on the ropes. So 1 for 1 for 1. Gable beat his guy, and Gunther beat his guy.
Yep. So then backstage, Priest is arguing with Finn. He's saying to him, "You can leave us high and dry, but you're good to go out there for your boy. You got popped in the eye. Explain that to us." And Finn says, "You need to relax, all right?" Reed just comes in and says, "Enough. This is what everybody wants. Us crumbling. We are now the most dominant faction in WWE, but nobody is scared of us. Why? Because look at us. We've accomplished so much. We're losing our killer instinct." And then JD walks up and apologizes to Finn. Priest says, "JD, man, this is Judgment Day business. You need to really step back." And Finn's like, "Relax. This isn't about me and JD or me and you. This is about all of us. We have an opportunity to show everyone how strong we are. Rhea, you're right. Tonight, Cody won't know what hit him." And Rhea says, "He will. It's the Judgment Day."
It's the Judgment Day. I like that point, though. Nobody's scared of us because we ain't doing shit.
Yeah.
I like that because too often it's like, for example, carrying Cross. It's like, why should anybody be scared of you? Because like you take L's, but then they'll have them go in and beat, Carl Anderson and Gallows or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like there has to be that self-realization, that self-awareness in a character. It's like, man, nobody's going to be afraid of me because like I suck right now. Mm-hmm. So after that, we have a SummerSlam SmackDown Bloodline recap. And then we've got Jackie backstage with Drew McIntyre.
Oh, man.
I have never seen Drew this checked out before.
Let me ask you something. So the whole idea, reportedly, and he said there was some, fire to the smoke or smoke to the fire, whatever, about him having maybe some disagreements about his creative.
Yeah, right.
I think he was injured too.
Yeah.
But they're at impasse when negotiating a new deal. And if creative is a sticking point, he's coming back to basically the same exact position he was before he left.
Yeah.
Before he took time off, which is tagging with Riddle.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, he's going to destroy.
Doesn't necessarily seem like
he's going to
kill
Riddle.
You need to dangle in front of Drew to keep him. You know what I mean? If creative's an issue.
Yeah, but this has got to be a heel turn. Like this
I
has
hope so.
to be. This has to be.
I hope so.
I cannot believe. I was actually surprised that he didn't claim more of the shit out of Riddle this week. I think that maybe the thing they're going to do is they'll do a couple matches where it's obvious that Drew is carrying the load here. Mm-hmm. And what I saw, look, one of two things is going on. Last night, Drew McIntyre, his body language was, I don't want to have anything to do with this.
Yeah, obviously.
But then even in character, like, he was like, well, go out there, Riddle, and we'll see if I show up.
Yeah.
And then he did.
Yeah.
And he ends up getting the win with a Claymore.
Yeah.
Now, if they don't use this to be like, fuck you, Riddle, I'm Claymoring your ass because you expect me to carry your stupid load, and he's a bad guy there,
that's something.
Then they're dropping the ball. If this is just going to be like a RK Bro Redux or literally what they were just doing, then they're just spinning their wheels with Drew, hoping he's going to re-sign, and then they'll give him something to do. Mm-hmm. This probably, I'm hoping that they're going to, before he, I guess signs a new contract or whatever the situation is, shows him that, hey, yeah, You're going to be a bad guy. You're going to turn on Riddle. You're going to destroy him because Riddle takes nothing but L's these days.
You got that right.
But he still has kind of a little bit of like, he's depth guy for now, where losses against Riddle kind of still matter. Mm-hmm. Or wins on Riddle kind of matter.
Yeah, I mean, Riddle's popular enough that you'd think he wasn't a depth guy.
I mean, he's got the puppy dog thing, and I think the crowd will be kind of sad if Drew turns on him, but it's a face turn for me. But
1,000%.
But I hope that Drew's just going to absolutely kill him after a couple matches, and then they'll have a match where he'll destroy him, and then he'll move on to Seth Rollins after Shinsuke is done with him.
Yeah.
That's my hope.
I hope so.
Because he did, even in character, he seemed a little...
checked out, yeah.
Checked out, right. But that could just be the performer, too. But
it could be, because he was trying not to laugh during the whole New Day thing later in the show.
Well, they're really funny.
They were, and they had the chairs with them, which was
They had the chairs
awesome.
with them. It was awesome. It was amazing.
Fantastic. And after walking off screen, telling them they should have moved their boat.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I hope I really that was really good. I'm really hoping that Drew is going to turn, and
it could happen next week after New Day pins Riddle.
Here's the thing about Drew too. I'd be kind of surprised if the performer was the type, like, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy who's going to telegraph that he's checked out. You know what I mean? Like in real life.
You would think so.
I think that he's a professional. And I think that if they're going to give him something, he's going to really run with it.
Obviously, yeah. He has a history of doing that, obviously.
It was just really weird that, like, he wasn't even there on the Go Home episode of Raw.
I know. That was weird.
SummerSlam. That was weird.
You shoot a movie, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's what everybody said. Yeah. Yeah, that's still weird.
He was in a movie with Dave Bautista.
Hey, I'll check that shit out, though.
Heck yeah.
What is it? It's like an assassin who puts a hit on himself or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Some weird shit. Yeah.
Something like that. So anyways, Riddle walks up to Drew, who's about to be interviewed by Jackie. And, he does the Riddle thing where he talks and talks and talks. And Drew tries to get a word in, but Riddle just keeps on talking. General idea is Viking Raiders have an open challenge. Riddle wants to answer open challenge, needs a partner. He wants Drew to be his partner. Mm-hmm. And eventually... Drew just, puts his finger up to Riddle's lips and tells him, if you can't find a partner, I'll consider it. And Riddle just says, you're telling me there's a chance.
Yeah.
So that was earlier in the day.
It's a line from like a movie 20 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I feel for trivia? This is a total tangent, but it's a podcast.
Yeah.
We have to start researching our like mid-aughts comedies, like romantic comedies, more than flags, because like we rarely get flag questions.
Yeah,
but every week there's at least
3 or 4.
There's at least 2 questions every week about like lame movies from the mid-aughts.
Yeah, I know. And very specific questions.
Yeah, I know. Like way too specific.
Like names of like characters who are in the movie like for 2 minutes.
Like, I know, right? Seriously. It's like, okay, maybe the question this week will be Dax Harwood based his character in wrestling on this Anchorman character.
Oh, Champ that one I know. It's Champ Kind.
Somebody earlier in chat here popped big for that one. I miss you. I miss your musk. We should get an apartment together.
So then we had Viking Raiders versus Matt Riddle and Drew McIntyre. Made his entrance last to be Riddle's partner. And as you mentioned, Riddle got some offense in here or there, but he was getting work. Gets a tag to Drew. Drew wins the match for him. Hits Eric with Ivar with Eric with Claymore to get the win, and we'll hear more from them later in the show. Then we're backstage in the locker room. Indy's warming up for a match against Rhea, and Candice is with her. Raquel walks in. She gives an update about her condition. She's got a brace on her knee. Still isn't cleared, but says, "Hey, Indy, good luck tonight against Rhea."
Yeah. Candice and Indy were like a little, I don't know. There's something that's kind of condescending. Like they're always there to say, oh, no, you're not cleared, so you can't, but maybe next week.
Yeah.
Also, was it the same doctor that cleared Santos on Friday?
Maybe.
Because that dude could barely stand, and Raquel's all like walking around being totally fine, but Santos like couldn't even put weight on his knee, on his leg.
There's no consistency. Like their medical diagnosis protocols are much like the rule book, and that is a sketch pad. You can just write whatever you want there.
Right, exactly. So after that, we had backstage Riddle and Drew, right?
Yeah.
So Riddle is just talking, and Drew says, all right, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. And Riddle's like, I have a hunch you're going to win those WWE tag titles. And the New Day walk up with the white folding chairs.
So good.
And Wood says, did I hear you say you were going to win those titles? You say that on Kofi's birthday? And Kofi says, first you took my ankle, and now this? How dare you? And Riddle says, happy birthday, but what's this about? And Kofi says, the Glass Bros aren't a thing. You aren't a team. You aren't even friends. Just because you won one tag match that you're eligible for the tag titles. And Drew and Riddle both throw up a 2, indicating they've won 2 matches. And Wood says, has the whole tag division gone crazy? We leave for a few months and everybody loses their minds? Shinsuke kicks Seth. Jimmy kicks Jay. The Street Profits think they're Shelton and Cedric. What's going on here? Kofi says, I know how we fix this. You two take on the New Day next week on Raw to see who makes a run at those WWE World Tag Team Championships. And then Riddle accepts on their behalf, and Drew just sort of smirks and tries not to laugh the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then New Day they yell at Riddle to move his boat next time.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Oh, they're amazing, man. They're
the
so
best.
good. So wait a second. How is this going to play out? Because you can't have the New Day showing up just taking L's to a new tag team.
No, they're going to pin Riddle.
They're going to pin Riddle. Is Drew going to get pissed off and then completely annihilate Riddle after
That's
that?
entirely possible.
Is Drew going to join the Drew Day? Is that what's going to happen?
Oh, that would be something.
Hey, WWE World Tag Team Champions. There you go.
That'd be great. Next up, Rhea Ripley versus Indy. Indy Hartwell tried to get some offense in, and she got a bit. In the end, headbutt, riptide, Rhea wins.
Man, I was such a sucker. Earlier in the episode, I was like, oh, they got an Indy Hartwell video package. That's awfully nice. Yeah. And then I realized, oh, it was just so Rhea could squash her. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Wasn't a terribly competitive bout.
No, it was not.
Afterwards, though, Candice gets in the ring. She goes after Rhea. And then her and Indy double team Rhea and start like stomping on her. Mm-hmm. Indy hits her with a flapjack. Then they get out of the ring because Dom gets in to check on Rhea. Then Nakamura's music hits. We go to commercial. We come back. Briefly, we see Finn warming up, and Priest says, hey, here's your jacket, man. They're cool, apparently.
Yeah, they're good for now.
So then Michael Cole's in the ring with Nakamura, asked him why he attacked Seth last week. And then Nakamura says, like really thinking about what he wants to say, and then he answers in Japanese.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And, you know, it pretty much says during the course of this interview that he needs to prove himself again, not just to his competition, but to himself.
Right, yeah, yeah.
And to do that, he needs to go after Seth.
Correct, yeah.
Because I want to win the world title, and I'm going to win the world title.
Mm-hmm.
So Seth's music hits. He comes to the ring. Seth says, Winnipeg, welcome to Monday Night Rollins. You know, Shinsuke, got to hand it to you. Last week, you played me to perfection. You set me up and knocked me out. All in the name of the World Heavyweight Championship. That's too obvious. It seems you aren't telling the entire truth. In case you can't tell, I'm not hard to find. Matter of fact, every week I stand here dressed to the nines, tied around my waist, and the entire world singing my song. In case you weren't aware, I'm a fighting champion that up until this last week had the utmost respect for you. If you wanted to crack the title, all you had to do was ask. But you didn't. You kicked me in the face. Everyone all week is asking, why, Shinsuke, why? I'm less concerned about the why, but how I can get even. I got a surprise for you, Shin. You won. It occurred to me the best way to get what I want is give you what you want. If your ambush last week was a challenge, well, challenge accepted. And he says it'll be us for the World Heavyweight Championship. Name the place and time, and I'll be there to kick your ass. Now we both have what we want. Why don't we give the people what they want? Grow a set, shake my hand, get the hell out of my ring, and let Winnipeg sing my songs. So they shake hands, and Nakamura pulls Seth in and whispers something to him. Mm-hmm. And it leaves Seth shook.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It's like bewildered, looking around.
Yeah.
What does that mean? He turns around, Kinshasa right to the face.
Whoop-a. Yeah. Yeah. So I wonder what he said. You think we're going to find out, or is it going to be like a mystery unsolved?
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, Vince isn't booking this, so we'll probably find out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If Vince was booking, he'd be like, oh, no, let's let people talk about it. We'll never know.
Doesn't matter what he said. Anyways, so after that, we had highlights from LA Knight and The Miz from last week. Miz is backstage with Byron. Asked him about last week, and Miz like, oh, you mean last week where I not only verbally demolished LA Knight, but also proved it in the ring? And Byron says that, Knight shook your hand. And Miz says, I did not shake his hand. He does not deserve to shake my hand. You're an LA Knight guy now, Byron. On the bandwagon. He beat Top Dollar on SmackDown. He thinks he's somebody. And Byron says, well, yeah. And he says, don't say yeah. He said, let me explain to you and everyone else. Next week, I'm going to beat somebody bigger, faster, more dominant than anyone LA Knight has ever faced. Who knows? I might show up on SmackDown. You know what it's going to be? And Byron says, awesome. And Miz says, yeah. And then we had Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch. So I was sort of confused when this match kicked off because I'm like, they're promoting this really heavily. It's supposed to be on a pay-per-view, but then they put it on Raw. Figured it'd be the main event. Right. But then I realized once it was a double count out, which led to more of a brawl. Unfortunately, not at the actual concession stands where there could be like hot dogs and nachos being thrown around.
It's merch. It's merch stand.
They went to the merch stand. There was a cute bit where Trish had Seth Rollins' shirt. She was holding up. What do you think? Speaking of merch, what do you think of the Becky Lynch lemon shirt?
I mean, she literally took lemons and made lemonade about it, and now they got a shirt.
That's correct. That's what happened. You just did the Meltzer thing where he doesn't give his editorial. He just says what happens.
What happened is saying, yes, I agree. That's what happened. Yes.
Okay. What do you think about it? Editorialize for me, please.
It's better than a lot of WWE shirts. I don't know if I'd want it because it's such a giant lemon on the front that if it's silk screened.
Yeah, right.
It's just a lot of silk screen.
It's just a thick
giant
layer.
Thick like body armor of silk screen on the shirt.
If I wore that playing ball today, I would have collapsed for real.
Yeah, that has kept a lot of heat in. Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Design wise, it's fine. I don't have an issue with it. It's just a giant lemon.
It's just a giant lemon.
It's a giant lemon. It has, I think, Becky's logo on the sleeve or something.
Maggie bought it.
Yeah, it's a fine shirt.
Yeah, apparently it's a top seller too.
Yeah,
apparently it's sold a lot. Giant lemon.
It's got a lemon on it. Lemons are cool. I like lemons.
Not into it. I don't like it.
You don't like lemons?
They could have been more clever. I like lemons just fine. They could have been more clever with the concept of her making. Like, how about like an old 90s style image of her with like some lemonade? It's just a giant lemon.
All right.
And if there's an idea you're making lemonade from it, so shouldn't it be like a giant pitcher of lemonade instead?
Maybe that's on the back.
It's not.
Oh.
Maybe that's the next shirt.
So you think the shirt itself is a lemon?
I do, yes. Doesn't pass muster with me.
No.
This was cool. I mean, look, this match, the match and then all the stuff was really cool. They were doing a lot of neat stuff. But
it was a bit underwhelming just to have a double count out. But they want to have the match on pay-per-view. They should have had it at SummerSlam, but they didn't. But.
I know. I'm kind like if they're gonna give this, like they're obviously gonna do this. I'm assuming they're gonna do this a Payback.
I would hope so. Yeah. Like
it should be on pay-per-view. And so I'm fine with this match going down the way it did for it to land on pay-per-view because it's different. They did the double count out and then the big brawl. So I thought it was cool. It was fun.
I won't ever get mad at a concourse brawl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
So
they don't do them a lot. Feels kind of special. Oh, it's going to the next level.
It's not like AEW who does it like once a month.
Right. Or they'll do like blood and guts, and then the next week they'll do an anything goes match where everybody's bleeding again. It's like
I know. Or like on pay-per-view they'll have Adam Cole and Chris Jericho in a no holds barred match with another no holds barred match later in the show. And so one of those can't be like full tilt because you're gonna overshadow the other one. So of course it's the one later on the show that gets to do all the crazy stuff. Yeah. And Chris Jericho and Adam Cole have a garbage match.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That match was terrible.
Yeah, I know. So after that, we see Cody warming up. He's got a match with Finn coming up next, but then we get what is this? Highlights of the Gable Vinci match and Gunther Otis from earlier, and Gunther's backstage, and Kaiser screaming in German, and Gunther says, "Enough! I've had enough. Tonight was an absolute embarrassment. Gio, what should I do with you? Ever since you came to Raw, you've disappointed me, and you've had a complete lack of focus. You show no leadership capabilities because you were worried about that girl. What is that all about? You tell me now." And Kaiser's like, "I understand. It should have never happened in the first place, and I guarantee you it'll never happen again. Let me make this right. I'll go to Pierce." And Gunther's like, "You're not go to Pierce. I will. I'll do it. I'll do what I always do. I sort this out myself. If Chad Gable wants my title, I'll take it up in next week." They're both from Austria, him and Schwarzenegger.
That's true. It's true.
So anyways.
Then we got some highlights of the Becky Trish brawl. And then we get Zoe and Trish backstage, and Pierce walks up to him and says, "What the hell is that?" And Trish is like, "That was a match."
It was a match.
The match. Oh yeah, save it. Gonna say she wasn't at ringside, and they're like, "Well, she wasn't." So he wasn't at ringside.
Yeah.
And he says, "We've been trying to make Becky Lynch versus Trish happen for weeks, and you wiggle out every time. We're gonna do it again. There's no interference or anything. Next time we do this, it's in a steel cage."
Steel cage. And then it says next week we're going to get The New Day versus Drew and Riddle, which should result in the Drew Day. And then Gunther versus Chad Gable for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yes.
And more. And then we had our main. This is the main event. Yeah,
it was the main event. Yeah.
Cody Rhodes, whoa, versus Finn Balor. And this is good stuff.
It was until the end where Finn looks like an absolute fool.
That superplex looked like a fucking brain buster, man. Cody almost landed on his head there. That was horrible.
Yeah, we don't see Finn do superplexes very often.
And we probably shouldn't if he's going to be dropping people on their head. My goodness.
There was, your typical Judgment Day interference at points throughout this match. So down towards the finish, Cody rolls Finn back in the ring. Rhea gets on the apron. So then Dom crotches Cody on the top rope when he goes up top. So Finn meets him up there. That's when the superplex happens. Gets a 2 count with that. Dom slides a chair in the ring in full view of Jack Daddy Ref.
Mm-hmm.
So Jack Daddy put his foot on it. Rhea gets on the apron. So Priest slides the case into the ring. But when he slides it, it was like Finn was expecting a bad hop, like playing shortstop or something, because he brings his hands up too early.
Yeah, right.
And so it slides right between his legs, right to Cody. Cody blasts Finn with it, and then hits Crossroads to get the win.
Yeah, man. So after the match, though, immediately after Dom attacks Cody, Priest joins in. Sammy's music hits. He makes his way down with a chair. He takes out Priest on the ramp. Dom and Finn in the ring. He tries to go for another one on Priest, but J.D. McDonough attacks him from behind, and then Priest is staring at him before attacking Sammy with Finn because J.D.'s like, here, I gifted you something. And then Priest hits a South of Heaven on Cody, and then Finn hits a coup de grace on him as well. They toss Sammy out to the floor. Rhea and Dom stomp him out. Finn hits a coup de grace off the steps to Sammy and tells Damien to clear off the announce table. Finn tosses Sammy into Priest, who hits a razor's edge to the table. Judgment Day stand over them all. And then Finn drags Cody into the ring, hits another coup de grace. So Judgment Day really look, and they all pose.
Oh, yeah. They look dominant at the end, yeah.
And they look dominant at the end. So all on the same page this week.
Yes.
We'll see what happens next week.
We got Hogan Ice here. Member for 1 month says, do y'all think Otis will ever get back into a world title contention, or is his time past? Probably not anytime soon.
I would be surprised if that ever happened, but stranger things have happened, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Got some questions here on the Patreon and YouTube channel members. Blind Mask says, could Survivor Series be faction civil wars, such as Judgment Day teams led by Finn and Priest, and then a Bloodline versus Bloodline match?
Could be.
That's a possibility.
Possibility.
Still 3 months away, 2 months away, whatever it is, 3 months away.
Yeah, about 3 months away.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Foster, outside of wrestling, what other ways do Finn and Damien screw each other over unintentionally?
Priest goes into the Judgment Day bus bathroom. He uses everything, like all the toilet paper except for like 2 squares.
Mm-hmm.
And then he leaves without, because it's a bus bathroom, so it's small. On the outside of it, there's the extra toilet paper. He doesn't put the toilet paper in, so Finn goes in there. Now he's got shit ass with 2 squares.
Yeah.
Hey, Priest, why didn't you refill the toilet paper?
Yeah.
What a terrible Finn Balor.
How about this? They're at the pub, they're at the bar, they're playing some pool.
Right, yeah.
And one of them's lined up for a shot.
Oh no.
And like say Priest is lined up for a shot. And then Finn's like talking to Dom or something, is not really paying attention to Priest playing, and accidentally bumps the table when Priest is trying to hit a shot. His ball goes astray. He scratches or something like that. Hits the 8 ball in.
Scratches on the 8 ball, yeah.
So
he loses to Rhea, yeah. That's a good one. Man, I don't know. Yeah, those are good ones. How about this? Finn, they're all ordering. They're at a restaurant. They're ordering. Yeah. Finn goes to go pee-pee, and then the waitress comes. She's like, should I wait? Should we order now? And Priest's like, no, we'll order now. I'll order for Finn. But he orders like something they don't eat.
Yeah.
He'll have a stack of hotcakes. And then Finn's like,
Damien, it's 2 p.m.
Yeah. I need my grilled chicken.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you like pancakes. Let's see here.
Shavon here asks, which of these scenarios do you think is more likely to happen? JD joining Judgment Day, JD replacing Finn, or Finn and JD forming their own faction after splitting from Judgment Day?
So JD joining Judgment Day is totally going to happen.
That's totally going to happen, yeah.
He's going to ingratiate himself with Judgment Day, other members. He's going to be like, hey, Rhea, I heard you really like, I don't know, Taylor Swift. So I got you, not tickets because that's too expensive.
Yeah. Do you want to trade friendship bracelets? Because I think that's what people do at Taylor Swift concerts.
Oh, really?
I think so.
That is so corny. Trade friendship bracelets. Oh my
yeah, I think that's what I think. Yeah, Maggie confirms they do.
Oh, that's horrible. She don't like that shit anyways. She probably likes cool goth metal or some shit like that. Maggie says you're a hater, Steve. You got that right, Bubba.
Alex Danner says, hey, Stephen Larson, hope you're both having a great day. My question is, do you think that Seth will still be the current champ by the time Roman loses that championship? Probably not, because it's entirely possible Roman has that belt for 3 more years.
He might have that shit. Hey, here's the bigger question. What happens first? Roman loses the title or aliens reveal themselves?
Aliens reveal themselves at this juncture. Because if The Rock, they do Rock at Mania 41.
Yeah.
Or 40, sorry.
40,
next year in Philly. Cody's going to have to wait at least another year.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
At that point, they're like, might as well break Bruno's record.
Let's go for Bruno. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, Cody ain't getting that title anytime soon.
Nope. He'll finish the story when Roman's like, yeah, I'm going to go to Hollywood now.
Mm-hmm. Patrick Cheeseman says, how long before we start referring to JD as Yoko? Wow. Common misconception that Yoko Ono broke up the Beatles. I think it was the death of Brian Epstein.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Edward Munoz says, what or who is your guy's ideal wrestler? Your opinions usually line up, but Larson's hot takes on Cody had me thinking, if you could pick a current wrestler or past one that perfectly represents what you guys are looking for in a wrestler.
Who perfectly represents what I'm looking for in a wrestler?
Yeah, if there's any wrestler past, present, that it comes to as close as what an ideal wrestler is in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Who is it? Other than Cody, because I'm sure that's what you'll say.
I mean, it's probably Kevin Owens.
All right.
He is like the epitome of sort of like the everyman. Badass, hilarious, great promo, fucking creative as hell in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And he dresses like I dress every day.
Yeah.
Like sleeveless shirts and basketball shorts.
Yeah.
It's Kevin Owens. That's my guy right there.
Probably Bryan Danielson for me.
Okay.
Wildly creative wrestler.
Yeah.
Can wrestle multiple styles, is just as good a babyface as he is heel.
Yeah.
He can be super delightful on the microphone, especially when he's a heel. Gosh, when he's a heel, he's so much fun on the mic. He's good babyface on the mic too. But gosh, the Planet's Champion.
That shit was awesome.
The Fickle.
Yeah, that was
thing
great.
He was doing for a stretch. Gosh, that was
favorite thing about Danielson, because that's a great choice also. My favorite thing about him is when he's a bad guy cutting a promo and he wants to laugh.
Yeah.
He has the most delightful, I'm trying not to laugh face.
He really does.
The joy just absolutely comes through. It really does.
I don't think anybody has more fun being a professional wrestler than Bryan Danielson does.
The thing that I love about Owens, though, is that he's the guy who's trying to break people. Yeah. To watch him and Sami Zayn is like how you and I are. Yeah. It's like he's simply trying to make Sami Zayn laugh. That's what his goal is.
And Gunther, if they're in a segment together.
Yeah, and Gunther, exactly. Yeah. Let's see here. All right. Well, that's all the questions I have here.
Cruz here has a question. What's the best event you've ever been to that has nothing to do with wrestling?
best event I've ever been to that has nothing to do with wrestling?
Yes.
Fuck, man. I don't know.
Oh, I think for me is I went to the first Obama inauguration.
Oh, man.
And that was an absolutely amazing experience.
What a great answer that is.
Absolutely amazing experience.
How close were you to the... Like, did they have big screens up there at all?
Yeah,
where you could see.
Yeah.
Okay, you could see through. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because like if you wanted to be close, because it's the front of the Capitol where they actually have the inauguration.
Yeah.
And so like there's a bunch of chairs, and you have to get tickets from your representatives to get those seats.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Otherwise, they have segments of the lawn of the mall where you could you just have to you go in and you just sat there. We got there at like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
To get our spot.
Yeah.
And then it didn't start, I think, till 10. So we just sat in the cold for 6 hours and talked to people and
oh wow, yeah.
Shared candy with them and it was awesome.
Did you trade friendship bracelets?
No, that wasn't a thing back in 2008.
Did you try that? You should have tried.
2009.
Yeah. I have my Obama bracelet. Do you want to trade them?
No, we had like peach rings, like the gummy peach ring candies. So everybody around us, we just shared them with everybody. It was super cool.
Some people are saying like, yeah, I guess so. Like my wedding, probably.
Yeah.
Like the birth of my child is great and everything, but it's also kind of a mess because you're just anxious the whole time. You're like, I want this to go good.
I know. You're probably short on sleep.
Yeah. Now you have a kid you got to deal with.
I know.
You got to worry about that shit.
I know.
So I mean, look, it's a wonderful moment. It's overwhelming.
But the question is an event.
But then they're also saying like wedding, like your wedding.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Your wedding was great. My fucking wedding, probably okay. So probably like my sister's wedding. It was like our last big hurrah as a family. Like it was before my dad was diagnosed with the brain cancer because after that he couldn't do shit. It was pre-COVID. So like everything was cool and like going to Europe is awesome. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, like is that an event? My sister's wedding?
Sure, that's an event.
That's an event right there. Yeah. So there's probably that.
Maggie here says with the hype chat says Steve keeps laughing. I'm sending him a friendship bracelet now. Send your ideas, friendos. I love that idea.
Yeah, if Friendo
4 inches of friendship bracelets on your wrist, that's what I want.
Yeah, like you start if people start sending each other. Like, send me friendship bracelets, P.O. Box 1814.
Friendship bracelets. Let's start trading them, everybody.
Bracelets. Yeah, let's start trading. I'm cool. That's fine if you guys want to do that because, the friendos, they'll like be a bit on the irreverent side,
Yes.
But like Taylor's, well, they're probably not creative people. A bunch of hearts and stupid unicorns and rainbows and shit. That's just boring. That sounds horrible. Or like old pictures of Taylor Swift.
All right.
I have not heard one song of hers that like is interesting to me at all.
Yeah, there's like one song of hers. Like, okay, this if it's on the radio, I'll kind of listen to it. Otherwise,
I know one of them, and it's that stupid "Shake It Off" one, and that's the only one I know.
Yeah,
does nothing for me whatsoever.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. Well, I guess on that note.
yeah. But if you guys want to trade them amongst our crowd, sure, go ahead and do that.
Sure, friendship bracelets,
or whatever.
Yes.
Friendship bracelets, yeah. But it's got to be cool stuff, like little, like Dope. If Dope sends me a friendship bracelet with like little tiny white chairs on it, I'll mark out big time. That'd be amazing. That'd be great.
Be amazing. Absolutely.
But no. Anyways, so that's going to do it for us today. Thanks everybody for joining us. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.